There is a kind of guilt many believers carry silently. The guilt of stepping back. The guilt of saying no. The guilt of not helping even when helping is breaking you. You were taught that Islam is mercy. That believers help one another. That kindness is always rewarded. And all of that is true. But what many people were never taught is this. Islam is not mercy without boundaries. Have you ever helped someone and felt yourself getting weaker? Have you ever supported someone only to realize they were becoming more harmful not just to themselves, but to others? Have you ever said yes out of fear of guilt while your heart felt heavy and unsettled? That discomfort is not random. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not command you to help everyone in every situation. He did not ask you to support wrongdoing, enable harm, or sacrifice your faith in the name of kindness. In fact, there are clear moments where Allah commands restraint, not involvement, wisdom, not sacrifice. Many sincere Muslims confuse patience with tolerance of harm. They confuse loyalty with silence. They confuse mercy with self-destruction. Over time, this confusion drains the heart, weakens faith, and creates resentment, all while believing they are doing good. This reminder is not about becoming cold. It is not about abandoning compassion. And it is not about judging others. It is about learning what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala actually asks of you and what He does not. Because sometimes the most obedient thing you can do is step back. Sometimes the most merciful response is refusal. And sometimes protecting your faith is more beloved to Allah than helping someone who refuses to change. Understanding this does not make you less kind. It makes you wiser. And wisdom is a form of mercy when it is guided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If this reminder feels meaningful, subscribing and sharing where you're watching from helps this message reach someone who may need it. One of the most painful situations a believer faces is being asked to help in something that feels wrong while being told it is loyalty, support, or love. It might not look like a major sin. Sometimes it comes quietly. You are asked to lie a little, to hide something, to defend behavior you know is not right, to stay silent when silence protects wrongdoing. And because the person matters to you, the heart feels torn. You tell yourself you are just trying to help. You tell yourself it's not your place to judge. You tell yourself that intentions matter. But deep inside, something feels unsettled. Islam is clear about this boundary. Helping is only mercy when it leads toward good. When help supports sin, harm, or injustice, it stops being kindness and becomes participation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala draws this line clearly in the Qur'an when He commands believers not to cooperate in sin and transgression. This command is not meant to make you harsh. It is meant to protect your soul from being pulled into what will eventually damage it. Many people struggle here because the sin does not feel personal. You are not the one doing it. You are just supporting. But support is never neutral. Silence, defense, and assistance all carry weight, even when done with good intentions. This is why the heart feels heavy in these situations. That heaviness is not weakness. It is awareness. It is the fitrah resisting being dragged into something it knows is wrong. Stepping back in these moments feels uncomfortable because it challenges emotional loyalty. You worry about hurting feelings. You worry about being misunderstood. You worry about losing relationships. But obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was never meant to be comfortable in every situation. Sometimes it requires quiet firmness. Helping someone commit or continue in sin does not save them. It delays their accountability and harms your own integrity. What feels like mercy in the moment often becomes regret later. Refusing to help in wrongdoing is not betrayal. It is not arrogance. And it is not lack of compassion. It is clarity. Clarity that understands that real help does not pull someone further away from what is right. Real help does not cost you your conscience. And real help never requires disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sometimes the most sincere form of help is saying no calmly, respectfully, and without hostility. Even if the other person does not understand it now. Because guidance does not come from protecting sin. It comes from refusing to normalize it. And when you hold this boundary, you are not pushing someone away from Allah, you are refusing to walk away from Him yourself. Not all harm looks loud or violent. Some harm hides behind personality, power, or emotional influence. And sometimes people are not asking you to help, they are asking you to stand beside them while they hurt others. This is one of the most confusing tests of faith. You may be asked to support someone who constantly belittles others, to stay silent while someone abuses their authority, to justify cruelty, because that's just how they are, or to take sides, even when your heart knows the truth is being ignored. At first, it feels easier to stay quiet. You don't want conflict. You don't want to lose relationships. You tell yourself that it's not your role to interfere. But over time, silence stops being neutral. It becomes permission. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warns against inclining toward wrongdoing, not only doing it, but supporting it through presence, silence, or loyalty. This warning exists because oppression grows when good people stay close to it without resistance. Many sincere believers struggle here because they confuse patience with passivity. Patience is enduring hardship without losing faith. It is not allowing injustice to continue while calling it wisdom. And it is not staying quiet when silence protects harm. This is where help becomes dangerous. When you repeatedly excuse someone's cruelty, you strengthen it. When you defend behavior that hurts others, you validate it. And when you stay close without boundaries, you slowly become part of the environment that allows oppression to continue. That does not mean you must confront aggressively. Islam does not teach recklessness, but it also does not teach blind loyalty. There is a difference between advising gently and enabling quietly. Stepping back in these situations often feels harsh, especially when the person believes they are right. They may accuse you of betrayal. They may question your intentions. They may frame your distance as lack of mercy. But distance here is not cruelty. It is protection. Protection for the victims. Protection for your conscience. And protection for your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Supporting oppression, even indirectly,